we've spent some time over the past week doing some little short videos going over the wand suit, Ace through 10. And now tonight I want to do a video which goes over the 4 court cards in the suit of wands. So I'm hoping that when I went through the Ace through the 10, it was able to present some of that fire energy, because in doing that, it gives us a little bit of an idea of how these court cards in the suits are going to present. So on the wall behind me, I have the entire suit up. And you can see from looking at that Ace through 10, how this creation, this spark, this thirst for life is presented. The plans are made, there's progress, we celebrate. There's things that battle for our time, but we achieve them. We're able to stay on top. But we do also reach this point where it comes to the 10 where we can complete what we're at, but by the time we get there, we're exhausted. And that is from carrying so much. And that embodies how a lot of the wands people are. Very social, very confident, but they don't always think things through. And that's not a bad trait. And I am not saying any positives or negatives here. I'm just saying overall traits. There's a balance in all things, and that includes in tarot cards. So that being said, typically the wands people are very outgoing. They are very social, charismatic. They are leaders and they are visionaries. They have this ability to take risks and do things that they desire. And they also want to see people in their environment do the same. So they will be the friends that encourage you to not only have fun, but to go after your vision, go after what it is that makes you happy, and they will root you on. These are people will definitely root you on. They have a variety of interests. They are generally very busy individuals. Now, a downside to that is usually they're very, very optimistic. And excuse me if I go back over myself, but that optimism does have a limit. When they get to the point of, like, say, the 10 of Wands up here, where they're carrying so much, they can get very pessimistic. They can get almost, I want to say, a little bit hot-headed and angry. Also, when we get up and we see the 6 of Wands on the wall behind me, that achievement, sometimes they need to remember to have grace. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes things can go to their head and they can come across as being a little bit cocky or even a little bit arrogant. Not that that's even intended, but that is sometimes how they come across. These people are fun-loving, which we've already said, and you can even notice in the progression from page up to king that this family of court cards would still, in their older years even, like to have fun. They are what I call a smutzer. It means they are fun-loving. They will do things like just to make people laugh. They like to have fun. Again, when they get into that older age, they've matured. So they don't come across usually as, headstrong as when they're in the younger page and night stage, but they have developed. So they have learned to control that ego sense of them a little bit. They have learned to tame some of the fire. Speaking of fire, I want to say with this element, another way to connect with this is to think of an actual flame of fire and kind of think of how you feel when you're sitting with friends around a campfire and it's cozy, it's warm, you have good friendship, good communication. But what happens if that fire gets out of hand? If the fire gets out of hand, it can become very destructive, and that is the energy of wands. All of the elements in tarot are going to work together. So when we are presenting these characteristics, that means like an overall, this will stand out to you. But we all have all of the elements within us. Even if we want to go deeper and say, like, the astrological signs are fire signs, but planet placement, we are all a mix of everything. And that being said, we are even all a mix of these different aspects that you will find in these court cards. So first up is the Page of Wands. So we're going to think of the pages as the children, and the Page of Wands would be the excitable child. This is going to be the young person who is into everything. All right, so they're full of energy, they are full of life, they want to go from one thing to another, they have many different interests, and their attention span may not stay on one thing for very long because they are ready to go to the next thing. Now, if you think of the Page of Wands as that type of person, you can see that in a tarot reading, this could actually be interpreted as a young person with high energy or an aspect of your personality. So a high energy, fun-loving personality is somehow involved in this situation. It could mean that you are finding a new interest, all right? So you've discovered a new interest, and a lot of times you will find that the pages are the messengers of tarot, which this tends to mean, in my opinion, a message coming in hot. Now, this is just in the wands itself. Later on down the road, we will go a little bit further into how mixing some of these card meanings comes into play, and how you can determine exactly what these cards are talking about. Next up, we are going to go to the Knight of Wands, which is the young adult person, still fire on fire. So this is somebody who follows their passions. They are definitely not afraid to take risks. The Knights of Tarot usually do bring some sort of event into play. In the case of the Knight of Wands, it would be an adventure of some sort coming into play. Next up, we are moving to the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is a busy and confident woman. This is the woman who is going to be putting a lot of her focus and attention into her friends, into her hobbies, possibly because remember we did speak of the wands as being entrepreneurship. So she may be an entrepreneur, businesswoman in that sense. But for the most part, I see this as a very busy woman who is taking care of the things that she is aspiring to do. So think of the queens as those caretakers, those nurturers. They are going to be focused on their element. She is focused on her realm of fire, which is how her energy is being spent. And finally, we have the King of Wands, who is somebody who has accomplished something in their lives and it has been through experience. The King of Wands is somebody who makes a great boss, actually, for the simple fact that people can come to this person and ask their advice because this person has already accomplished what he set out to do. Very confident, very sure of himself. He has not been afraid to take risks in his life. He is the master of his suit, which means that he has brought the Ace through 10 through completion, and he has gained the experience from that. He has the ability to inspire others through his own actions. And if you even just look at this picture, he doesn't look, he almost looks like you can't tell if he's just sitting down or if he's getting ready to pop back up and go do something. So again, as these wands move forward in life, they don't lose that thirst for life. One final thing here to say quick about the court cards. I find that by looking at them as aspects from page to king, looking into the element that we discussed as far as the actions that we've seen happen from Ace through 10, it can tend to give you a pretty good idea of how these court cards would present as aspects or attitudes in a situation. I do find that the king and the queen tend to point towards attitudes of the current, or if I'm reading for myself, of course, myself, and the page and the knight can vary.